Welcome, Cancer, to your love relationship reading. This is the Witching Hour Tarot readings. My name is Michelle and I'm a witch. If you would please consider making a donation to this channel or booking a private reading with me and subscribing especially. To book a private reading or make a donation, everything you need to know and the links that you need are in the drop down box below, the description box. Make sure you hit the bell icon if you subscribe so that way you can be notified of all my new videos. Today I'm going to be using, for your reading, I'm going to be using the Witch's Wisdom Oracle by Barbara Michael John Free and Flavia Kate Peters, illustrated by Richard Crooks. And I'm also going to be clarifying the reading with the mini Hanson Roberts Tarot. So without further delay, let's get into your reading. Okay. All right, this is your energy, Cancer, right here. Prosperity. This is the energy you yourself are holding in regards to love relationships. So it looks like you feel like you hit the jackpot. This is what's going on with you right now. Initiation. The overarching energy of spirit, underlying energy is initiation. You are being, this is a new way of life for you. You've just come upon a new way of life. A way of life in where you feel your soul is prospering. And I almost want to say, like the Star Trek, you know, live long and prosper thingy. It's like that. This is what's going on with the other, whether it's someone you're involved with now or the person you're trying to bring in. Magic. So I'm feeling with these cards, your soul is what's really at the forefront here. I feel that you've already, your process is complete. Spirit is still at the forefront of your mind at this time and calling in a new type of relationship. I feel for some of you a relationship has ended and now you revamped yourself first before you decided to call in another person. You already did a lot of self-examination, kind of cleaned out your soul, so to speak. Really tapped in and tuned into spirit, your own soul, in order to like rediscover by now at this time, like what really is important to you based on the lessons you learned in the past. It's important for you that you connect with someone who understands what that magic is about. That the magic is connected to the soul. You understand this, Cancer. And you want someone else who understands this as well. And that's what's going on with them. That is what you're calling into your life. That is what's going on. The real reason of what's going on for you is remembrance and ancestors. This is something I feel that is in your blood. Ancestry is important to you. But it's not just ancestry for the sake of knowing who people are, but more for the sake of how they functioned and how they related with others. You are, it feels to me in this energy of this card, you're breaking family patterns, ancestral patterns that are in your life, you feel at the core of your soul, after all that you've been through and purged and purified, that you need to be with someone who understands the family dynamics that you are very keenly aware of, that they understand how those dynamics work against people and why they need to be broken, and creating new dynamics with one another. That point, for some reason, Spirit is saying, is very important to know and to remember, to create the new dynamics together, because it takes two. It takes two to create the new dynamics, because everyone else is created by two people. Regardless of how your love plays out in the flesh and in the physical world, it's always created by two people. And yes, there's male and female energy, but regardless of that, can transmutate into any type of relationship, whether monogamous, polyamorous, gay, straight, bi, and everything on the rainbow spectrum. It's like you need someone who understands that, but what Spirit is reiterating again, just before I go to the next card, is to remember that it takes two to create the new dynamic. There's always this interplay off of another person, and that has to be present. This card fell first, an extra card fell with it. Healer. This person has to understand the healing. This is why this person is calling on metaphysical means for healing at this point, at this time. The pink is standing out a lot to me. The feminine energy. A restoration of the female soul is what I'm seeing. The messages from Spirit. It feels like they're seeking messages from Spirit about their healing. This is the other card that dropped with it, passion. So there can be these sexual undertones or underpinnings for the necessity of healing, to bring health and vitality back to the sexual drive, to the sexual understanding and comprehension of healthy sexuality. They want their health restored. This I'm sensing that there could be an ancestral pattern of victimization of women. There's an underlying key there that needs to unlock the understanding, which is why this person is seeking the messages. They're seeking the light, the illumination about, well, what exactly, how do I heal from this? How do I bring this into my new family? How do I create a new healthy dynamic of this while I still hold this pain? And that's the key right there. Is can there be this healing and pain together? Do I consider myself healed if I still have pain? The answer is yes, because they both have to exist together sometimes. Both exist together, but the healing comes when you can make peace with that and understand that they sometimes do both exist together, but that they don't always have to butt up against each other. They don't have to always be in combat with each other, with pain and suffering on the one hand and the healing and restoration and peace of mind on the other. The peace and love will always win out, and that's the most important thing to know. If you stay with that the healing will generate more momentum, and you'll feel healed in spite of the pain. You won't wonder if you're healed or not. Okay, so that's an important message. Why this is going on for you, the ancestral dynamic, Cancer, what Spirit is in fact bringing in to help you understand the ancestral dynamics, how that plays out upon someone's personal history and on history on a more worldwide scale. The help you will be receiving soon from Spirit is fulfillment. You're going to be making breakthroughs in understanding. that's going to give you a lot of clarity of mind. But not only that, but it will give you tremendous emotional support, and a lot of it's going to be supernatural, and you will see some of it as being supernatural. There won't be, that's what's going to reinforce your faith in yourself and your faith in humanity. It's going to restore your faith in humanity and bring you a lot of emotional peace. What's going to, in fact, what Spirit is in fact bringing in to help the other is the Hex card, banishment. This is where we restore our sense of personal empowerment. This is where we acknowledge our shadow and our light. This is where we acknowledge our so-called negative feelings, our pain, our anger, our suffering. And this is where we tell them to go. But we know that they can't not exist. In other words, you don't just erase feelings and whatnot, but we banish the empowerment that they have over us. And we realize that we have control over our feelings. We have control over our healing. We have control, self-empowerment, boundaries, being able to not just set boundaries, but to flat out banish someone or banish a particular energy from your life through this renewed sense of self-empowerment that has been restored through this healing process. And yes, anger does have a lot to do with it, but it's not all negative. It's more about just processing the anger. This person is healing because of their anger. The anger is helping them to heal. So it's important that they don't alienate themselves from their anger and see their anger as bad. But it's also important that the anger doesn't consume them, so that their boundaries and empowerment don't exert power over others. In other words, it's like I'm going to hold on to my own power and use it for myself without the need for defensiveness. I can feel my anger without it overwhelming me. And I can fight without being defensive. I can fight without being defensive. And yet still without alienating from my feelings. So this is the culmination of it all. And the meeting of the two people coming together is this. Fertility. So the children are coming. It's baby making time. It's time to make the babies. It's time to make the projects come to pass and happen too. These are babies. These are projects. The fecundity of the growth. There is fertility in these. This will grow and blossom into something new that's come from pain. The underlying reason under the whole energy of this is security. Because security factors so importantly in our peace of mind, in our ability to love without being traumatized, without being distracted by trauma, either from the past all the way back through our ancestors, history of the world, our own personal history, regardless of trauma. We will heal. We will heal. Because there will be growth out of it. Because there's growth out of it does not justify anyone to tell us, well, that's why all this bad stuff happened. If that hadn't happened, this good stuff wouldn't happen now. And that is not something that anyone has a right to say to us, really. No one has a right to justify our suffering in our perspective and try and tell us and try and quantify why we have suffered. We understand that that's kind of backwards. We suffer because there is abuse in the world, and abuse happens with intention and on purpose. And while we can't reconcile that and have power over other people and be defensive, we can fight by standing our ground and transmute all of that into knowing that out of those ashes, new growth will come. Because love, as I said before, what Spirit was saying, love will overpower all of it in the end. Just like if there was like a so-called nuclear Holocaust type of situation, that the green plants of this world would grow over all of the old buildings, and that life, the fecundity of real true life and love that exists intrinsically in our planet and within us, will grow and take over in the end. It will come to pass. So that's like a lot of philosophical principles and kind of like heavy, or whatever you want to say, or deep or intense, however you want to describe it. But what it's really all about is it's just reiterating continually the power of love. It's always, always, always about the power of love, and being able to have the feeling that it's safe to love. It's safe to love. It's safe to be me. And that's what's most important here in this message for you, Cancer, is it is now safe. It is. Your soul is golden. And through everything that you have all been through, whether it be breaking ancestral patterns, whether it be breaking patterns in your personal history of needing to heal from suffering, or even how we can sometimes sabotage ourselves and perpetuate a toxic environment for ourselves, or toxic situations, without kind of by default, because we're conditioned to do that to ourselves. And healing from that, it can still go from that to this. This is always going to win out in the end. Love will always win out in the end. So it's important to know that that is the overall purpose and function, that we can use all of those things. We can utilize an understanding of our suffering to in the end, create security for ourselves. So it's almost like taking all these broken pieces and building a structure out of it that, instead of harming us, now protects us. You've transmuted all those energies into your own peaceful, secure world where everything within is safe and sound. And not only that, but it's magical as well, because you're restoring your sense of self-power. Your power is here and this, and you have created, and you're creating good boundaries. And see, look at, it's all about the feminine energy. I don't even think I need any clarifiers for that, because I mean, these cards really rid themselves, to be honest with you. But I will. I'm feeling drawn to these two, so I'm gonna go with those as a there. Look at the Nine of Cups. Your wishes are being fulfilled. Self-fulfillment, self-fulfilling prophecy. That always has such a negative connotation to it, but it's like, no, now it's positive. Now we understand. I'm going to rewrite my own history. And this is how I feel about it, because I have my power and control back. I've banished anything that tries to have power over and control me, which is the intrinsic nature of abuse. And now I feel this instead. I'm empowered. This healing has been done. This is what's going on. I do feel a very strong energy of people giving birth, adopting children, having babies. It will come to pass in safety. You don't have to worry about loose ends of residual emotions, or you don't have to worry that everything has to feel perfect and happy and healed before you create. In fact, perpetuating your own line of love and your own new ancestry here will help create even more healing and continue in the transmutation of that energy to create even more healing. Because once you've given birth to these projects, whether they be children or projects that you're giving birth to, they're still your children in every sense of the word. But many of you, that feeling is literal, of children and you moving and building a home and creating a home. And I'm even seeing like a tiny house like how the, the popular tiny house living, that type of thing, that it's because maybe symbolically you're seeing how little we all need to feel like we have everything. It's like you've whittled it down to the most important things, and you're very focused on that, and it is coming to pass. That's what this reading is saying. All of those things that you're giving birth to, whether they be literal children or these projects, these new businesses, small homes, moving, traveling, creative expression when you're on the road, all that whole lifestyle, the whole enchilada is what I'm hearing. The whole enchilada, it's everything stuffed in it to overflowing, is like, you don't need to have a big life for that. It's like a big house, a big this, a big that. It's like you have encapsulated it all in your soul, and you're taking it out into the world, and you're going to let everybody see it. Without, Spirit is cautioning to keep track of the defensiveness and remember how to channel your energy with the passion, fire, anger, etc. Anger is not, don't see anger as the enemy. Don't see anger as the enemy. Use it with your power. Exert your power to take the anger. You're stronger than your anger, but that doesn't mean you suppress it and stifle it. It doesn't mean you can quantify it and make excuses for it, obviously. But it's like you have the power to use your anger for your good. Use it. It's energy. Use it. It's like gas, fuel. So it's like the Spirit's just saying, remember that. It's very important that you remember to use the anger and don't feel overwhelmed by it. Because then you might get scared and like feel like you have to suppress it and push it away. What will help you heal better and faster and stronger is to remember that you're more powerful than the anger, and the anger is in fact part of your power. So take it and use it for yourself, for the good, for your good. Do something for yourself with it and for others, okay, as opposed to suppressing it. Because that's what we're learning to do, is to not suppress things. Too many secrets. Anger, you can normalize it, but make it work for the good. Because anger in and of itself is not good or bad. It's just anger. It's power. Freedom. Freedom is your power. Use anger towards creating freedom for yourself. Freedom is your power. So that's what the cards are saying. I know, deep philosophical messages, but man, really good. And thank you, Cancer, because you're the ones bringing this to this video, your life and your love for life and your children and your family and all of that for yourself is what I'm channeling. So it's because of you that I'm channeling this message and giving you back this gift. So it was a gift for me too. So I wanted to thank you for that. So keep coming back, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell notification so that you can get notifications of new videos and things like that. Please consider making a donation or booking a reading with me if you need to. Like, share, and subscribe. From my soul to yours, Cancer, good luck, the best of luck to you, and brightest blessings. Take care. Bye-bye.